Okay, so we're gonna go over how to use the Showing Cart app in the MLS. And this Showing Cart is used for if you're using or you're scheduling multiple showings for a buyer. So we're gonna go ahead and use that tool today. And so if I'm in the MLS here, you're going to go right into showing time. And really something to prepare for on this is you're going to want a list of the MLS numbers. The showing carts tool uses MLS numbers and not the addresses. So keep that in mind. Have your MLS numbers ready to go, and that should be all you really need to prepare for this. So I was in the CMLS member portal here. I clicked on Showing Time. It takes me to Showing Time. And then from here, I'm going to go under Showings. It's going to give me a list of options here. I'm going to go to the bottom here at Showing Cart. And you'll see I've already created our showings for tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I created that. So first you'll select the day that you're looking to set up your showings. And if you don't already have your buyer added to your buyer or contact list, you'll have to add them. And you just need their first and last name, so you don't necessarily need their email and notes. But if you want to be thorough, of course, go ahead and do that. And of course, if you're also going to be emailing your clients the showings and the route for the day, that's when you would also want to have the email here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that, but that's where you add the buyer. And then once you add them, they're going to show up here under the list. You'll have to select them in order to add them to your tours. It does require that part. And you can do the description. So I did the description for tomorrow under showing training as well. And so you can name that anything you want, but it's going to show up right here. So, and then as soon as you do that, you're going to say add to my tours, and it's going to show up here on the calendar like it did for me before. So just keep in mind when you go into here, you'll add the tour first. It'll show up on the calendar, and then you also have to click into it in order to start actually scheduling these showings. So I'm going to click on the first one I had actually scheduled, and I have noticed you can't go back and delete it. So I'm going to go ahead and click right on the one that I originally made. It's going to take me to this window. So you'll see I'm going to confirm my tour date is correct. I've got my buyer here. Any notes that I want to leave for this buyer. And then you'll see here is where I actually have my appointment information window. So you can see I haven't implemented anything yet. So from here, I'm going to put in my MLS number. So that's what it means by listing IDs is the MLS number. And you separate them with a comma. So I have my IDs ready to go. I'm just going to put a comma there. Okay, so once you have all your MLS numbers in here, I'm going to hit go. It's going to recognize them and pull them from the MLS. So it looks like I have an extra one in here. Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so this is a great example of how to remove one if you accidentally put an extra one in there. I realized that this Woodrow one was a limited listing. You have to call the listing or the buyer, the seller directly. So I'm just going to avoid that. I'm going to remove it because we're just doing agent previews tomorrow for the training class. So I have my 5 homes that I want to show tomorrow. You'll see if I scroll down here, I've got a map as well. So what this is a tool for you to see, okay, what route do I want to take? So I'm seeing that the list of homes that I have here really doesn't make sense as far as my route goes right now. So I'm not going to go here and then follow back here. So I'm going to hit Smart Route. Smart Route is sort listings by best route beginning from stop 1. So I'm going to hit start smart route. It's going to route them how it thinks I should take my route. And that is what I agree how I would take my route. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now, if you didn't agree with the smart route, you can, if I hover over these addresses, you can see a hand that appears. So if I click left click and hold, I can actually move that listing up or down on the route. So I want to keep that one there, but just so you know, if you don't necessarily agree with the smart route, you can change the order of the route, okay? So you can change the order, you can remove it. So now I'm ready to go ahead and pick my times. And I'm going to go ahead and say pick time. I'm going to just make sure too when you do the type of appointment, you can see here you got multiple options here. So make sure you are selecting the type of appointment that is correct. So if this is your first showing, of course you'll select showing, of course second and third. If you're using a virtual showing, so you're taping it, it's an out of town buyer or something, you're going to select virtual showing. This way they are aware that there's not going to be another person other than you arriving to the home. Some people have cameras and so they can see that it was just you that showed up. So it's really important to have the type of appointment corrected here. I'm going to select agent preview. So agent preview is a perfect example of someone that an agent that's going to a home just to take a look at it and to understand their market and become an expert in that area. And or if they're previewing the home for their client to see if this home is an option for them and meets what they're looking for. The other ones you can see in here, appraisal, you're not really going to use this one. Appraisers usually schedule their own appointments. Inspection is the one that I like to use. A lot of inspectors don't have access to the MLS, so they don't schedule it in here. And our transaction coordinator sets up our inspections, but I highly recommend actually scheduling your inspections in ShowingTime as well, just so everyone's on the same page. And of course, we've got broker price opinion walkthrough would be another one. If you're going to be closing soon, you're going to select that so they know that you're just doing your walkthrough. So I'm going to go ahead and click agent preview for this. This is my first property I'm seeing, so I'm going to go ahead and select. We are going to start at 9:15, and I'm going to do a half-hour window because it's our first one. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to go to the second one. And also, you'll notice here, from this one to this one, it's showing me it's about a mile and it's a 3-minute drive. From this one to this one, it's about a mile and it's 1.7 miles and it's a 5-minute drive. From this one to this one, it's 2.5 miles, 6 minutes away. You can see what I mean. So it gives you an idea of how far apart you really should be scheduling your appointments. So use this tool. Take a look at how far apart they are so you can kind of utilize that to schedule your appointments accordingly. So I'm going to say agent preview again. I'm going to say 9:30, and then after your first one, I usually ask for an hour, but this one's only allowing me a half hour, so I'm going to save that one. That should be okay. So the next one's going to be 9:45. Oops. And then I'm going to schedule it. Ooh, another one that's only a half hour long. All right. Good thing they're close together. So from here, this one's going to be 10. Okay, great. This one is giving me enough time to. This one again. I'm going to agent preview 10:15. 11:15. So I've got this all set up, and as soon as you feel ready and you like the times that you've got requested, then you would go ahead and actually hit this send request button. So until then, if you want to add another stop, you can add it here and say add listing stop or add another stop, but also you can add it here and hit go. Okay. So here I'm going to send my request, and this once I click here, it submits your appointment request. So if you want to go back and change any of these, I can go back here and change it like this, because you might get down to this one and realize it's not, it's grayed out or something and not available for the time that you wanted. It will show you if it's available or not. It will not let you select that time if it's not available. So you can go ahead and change your times all in one window before you actually request the showings. And I like that because if you do one at a time and I get to the fifth one, and then I realize, gosh, I actually need to change the order of my route now because this last one is not available at the time I thought I could do it. So I have to change where I see this home in our route. From here, or if that happens, I have to go back and cancel and reschedule the other ones. Whereas from here, I can kind of choose my times without requesting and going back and forward and changing it. I can change it all in the window. No one else has to see what my times are or what I'm selecting. So I'm ready to go. I like the way my route looks right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know what? I'm gonna change. Yeah, we'll start at 9:15. So we'll say send request. And what it does is it requests all of them at the same time. So you'll see automatically, these were all go-in shows. You can see the appointment type, address, and the status. So if I were to have requested these and there was a home that was occupied, it would have said requested and not confirmed, of course. So I can actually see, okay, they're all confirmed. I'm good to go. This is my route. Now, the cool thing about Showing Cart is if you go up here, you can actually send the tour details to yourself or to your client. I like to send it to my client to give them kind of a heads up on the route. They can see where we're going. I think it's really a great way to show your client that you're thorough. So if I say send route, I can send it to myself, and then or here would be where I would put my client's information. And then it automatically has the subject showing tour Wednesday, January 31st. It says, please follow the link to view the upcoming tour. It has your signature and everything. So it's a really cool technology that you can use and really stand out compared to other agents in our MLS, because a lot of agents don't use this, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and send it. Okay. And then the other thing you do is I like to print this out for my client and for myself. The reason why I say that is because you'll see there's two printing options here. There's a buyer's agent version and an agent's version and a buyer's version. Okay. So from here, I can see this is the agent's version. It shows my tour date, who my client is, and how many stops and how many miles we're going for the day. Okay. So from here, I can see my first one is confirmed. It's the agent doesn't have their instructions set up, but this is where you would see something like super a lockbox key location. So if the listing is thorough and filled out correctly, you would see the information as well as alarm information. So this is kind of like usually a spot you can quickly look and not have to go in and out or write down on a piece of paper what your information is to access the property. Unfortunately, these ones are all, you know, 4 out of the 5 are not, they don't have their showing time instructions updated correctly. And that's just the way it goes with agents, and that's just how it is. But anyways, you'll see it shows my times that I've requested, and then how far apart my property is to the next one, right? So if I'm at this house, I can look at my paper and say, as we're leaving 119 Sims, I could say, okay, we're going to 3609 Moss next. It's about a mile away. It's going to take 3 minutes to get there. See you there. So like I just like to kind of tell my client what the next step is, and this is a great way to have the information in front of me. And then you'll notice I can also do show map. I can show directions. So I can print off my or my directions from house to house. And then if I scroll here, I can see my map. So I can move my map. When you go to print this, make sure you can see all the properties in the map window, because when you go to print this and it's zoomed in like this, you're not going to see all the properties. So make sure you move the map around if you go to print this for yourself or your client. Just a tip there. So I'm going to scroll to the top. I'm going to click a buyer's version, show you the buyer's version. So you can kind of notice that the buyer's version just kind of gets rid of all the agent side information. Still shows them how far apart they are, what time we're reserved. This is a great way to keep your clients on point with the timing of your showings, right? It's hard when we're going through, we're running behind. If your client can see that we have our reservation set for a certain time, they might be more inclined to follow that time frame. And then you'll see I can send them and print for them the instructions in case you're working with an elderly couple that doesn't know how to use GPS. Of course, they're following you, but this might be another way for you to show them instructions. And then, of course, the map, so they know what route you're taking for the day. Some people like to go get lunch after, so they like to know where they're starting and ending. So I think that that's a really great tool for them to have. So here I can say print tour. Does take a while to upload. So here, if I go to print this, look how professional and thorough this looks for my client, right? And of course, I'll print one for myself, the agent version side of things. So if I go to do agent version, print tour, here I've got all my information as well. I can easily see I'm confirmed, my times, and my access information. And I can also see the route I'm taking as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's training, and I hope that next time you go to schedule a showing or a group of showings, you use this and have some fun with it. So thank you.